question, a couple of follow-ups, and then let's move it around. Yeah, half an hour. I saw a hand up over there. Let's go.
Why not? I'll kick off. My name's Kenny. I'm working for Daily Record. I like long walks in the park and Aquarius.
Perfect.
The first part of the question for you is that this year at WrestleMania, you're part of that Money in the Bank ladder match, or just the IC title ladder match. I think going into people maybe like didn't expect you were going to win the title, but when you did, that crowd just went ape. They just couldn't believe it. Talk about that moment for you and kind of getting back to that kind of moment in WWE on WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, I started the year, I wasn't even in the Royal Rumble, wasn't even one of the 30 guys in it. And then just by chance, I got thrown into that match. And I knew no one expects me to win, and that's what makes me the most dangerous. You know, I'm definitely the underdog in there, and I got to take advantage of this opportunity. I never had a singles, match at WrestleMania where I'd go in there with my own music, and I got to hear my music play for the first time. I knew that this might be my only shot, so I had to do anything possible to grab that title. At the end of the day, I did. I walked out the Intercontinental Champion, heard my music play twice, when I won, and then my dad came in, we had that great moment. It was definitely a highlight of my career for sure.
And Mojo, being a part of the hype bros, it's hard enough when you're coming up in WWE, getting to the main roster and all that sort of stuff, but you're with Zack, one of the most popular guys in the roster, you're quite hyped as well.
It's been said.
People have seen it. But getting onto the main roster, what's that process been like for you, and now being a part of SmackDown as well?
Well, it's been a lot smoother transition than it probably should have been. Being able to tag with Zack, who's been in the company for a long time and has a lot of experience. So it's been pretty cool to see that kind of all transpire. But yeah, it was a long time coming in NXT. I was down there for a while. Had a couple of injuries when I was down there, which kind of elongated the process somewhat. But now that we're up here on SmackDown and we're rocking and rolling, we're in the Survivor Series tag match. We're ready to go. I mean, living the dream right now.
And just finally, you're always hyped. But what time of the day are you the most hyped? Are you one of those annoying morning people that are really overly hyped?
I would say so. Yeah. Sometimes I do it extra just to annoy them because it makes me laugh. Yeah, I mean, Showtime. That's when I'm the most hyped. Getting an opportunity to go out and do what we do in front of a big crowd, a live crowd, and how you not going to be most hyped at that point?
I'm
Matt, I'm right over time. You guys have been tagging now for just over a year. You haven't won the titles just yet. What do you expect for the coming few months? I know WrestleMania's coming up, you hope to be on the card.
I mean, everyone wants to be on WrestleMania. I mean, you shouldn't be in WWE if you don't want to be on WrestleMania. So that's definitely the ultimate goal for the Hype Bros. But like you said, right now we have that Survivor Series match. Hopefully Team SmackDown wins. And then once we get that opportunity, that shot to tag team titles, it's only a matter of time for the Hype Bros and, we take over WWE.
And what's going to happen if you come up against each other in the Royal Rumble?
Ooh. We'll figure that out when we get there. We'll work that one out later.
Hi guys, I'm Fraser from Glasgow Live. Firstly, welcome to the city. Have you guys been in Scotland before?
I've been here a few times before, yeah. First time for me, buddy.
So how have you found being in Scotland? Are you enjoying it?
Oh, I love it. I love coming here. I love performing in front of the audience here, and I can't wait to do it tonight with Mojo. Boom. We got a first timer over here. I'm fired up.
So what are you expecting then? What have you heard about the Glasgow crowds?
What am I expecting? I'm not expecting anything. I just want to see what happens. That's how I like to. That's how I like to live. But I think it'll be great. Zack's been hyping it up pretty good, so we're ready.
And it was also just kind of about your own guys' careers. Obviously, you've had a bit of a different path into. You used to be an American footballer. Is that correct?
Correct.
Can you talk about that. What was that like? Going into that, and then obviously going into wrestling.
Well, this is completely different, I can tell you that. I wear a lot less these days. But yeah, no, I played football my whole life pretty much. Wrestling was always the first thing I ever wanted to do. Can't sign up for this kind of wrestling in school, so, I went the football route first, and I was successful at it, made it to the NFL, and, I had an injury, a really bad injury, actually, where I was out for 18 months. In football, and doctor said it was career-ending. I came back from it, and when I was a free agent, I had some offers from the NFL on the table, and then all of a sudden this offer from WWE kind of came out of left field, and I kind of left everything I knew to give this a shot, and I'm glad I did because it's already paid off, and I'm having so much more fun now than I was before. It's ridiculous.
And Zack, yourself, I was reading up about you had a few health scares when you were younger.
Yeah.
You fought back from that
Yeah, I mean, like, long story short, like when I was sick when I was a kid, I always knew like I got to get better, I got to make it through this because I wanted to be in WWE my whole life, and that was the end goal. That was my plan A. I never had a plan B. It's just WWE, 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 and then luckily, you know, I made it. You know, I'm here right now talking to you guys.
Partying with Mojo every day.
He's made it.
Over there with the headphones.
Paul from Identify Radio. Zach, first question. You're obviously a very popular figure in WWE Universe. When you first started doing your Internet Wrestling Championship, was that to force WWE's hand to take notice?
Yeah, absolutely. It was just me. You know, I wasn't really happy with my spot on the card, and there was, you know, either deal with it or make a change. And the YouTube stuff, it was just something that I'm like, let me give this a shot. I didn't have a grand plan. You know, I'm like, let me start making these little shows, and they evolved over time. And people started to notice, the fans started to notice, and then the company started to notice. So it all worked out, and it's just one of those things that like you can't you know control it, you can't like predict it. It was just like lightning in a bottle, and it was great.
So you didn't expect it to take off as quickly and as big as it did?
I definitely didn't think it would be as big as it did. You know, I started the year, you know, making that YouTube show. By the end of the year, I was the U.S. champion. So a lot changed in just 12 months.
And Mojo, obviously you just talked about you being an ex-NFL star. Was it the Green Bay Packers and the Arizona... what are they called again?
You had it, buddy.
Arizona Cardinals?
Right.
Is it Cardinals?
Cardinals.
Oh, there we go. Close.
Yeah.
What is the biggest difference from, obviously, the fitness and cardio aspect from American football to wrestling?
I'd say the two major differences are, one, there's no off season here. So, you know, you kind of have to structure your training around having minimal days off. Actually, we don't have days off because on our off days we still train anyways. But I'd say probably the biggest difference from a cardio standpoint is that in football, every play only lasted an average of 6 seconds. So it was more about short bursts, and then you can catch your breath for a second. But here in wrestling, you know, it's turns up nonstop the entire match. You know, whether that match goes a minute or that match goes an hour, you got to be prepared to be able to stay hyped the whole way through. So my cardio training's a lot different. It's more endurance-based training now than powerlifting per se. More reps.
So with you becoming a success in WWE and the Hype Brothers, one of the fans' favourites, has this opened the door for more NFL stars to join WWE?
You know, I would probably have to say yes, just because they've seen that it's worked with a few guys. You know, I think WWE kind of has a storied past with recruiting former NFL players, that some of them have materialized, some of them have not. But I think that door's always open. I think from what WWE looks for from a recruiting standpoint, there's a lot of former NFL players or current NFL players that have a very similar skill set, so it's an easy place to draw from. But yeah, I would say that door's probably always going to be open.
Last one for the two of you, the Hype Brothers, past or present, which tag team would you want to face and at what event?
Ooh, well, the event's definitely Mania. Yeah. That's without a doubt.
I would say right now it would have to be just like whoever the tag team champions are. There's WrestleMania, whether it's either Rhino or the Usos or American Alpha, doesn't matter. As long as the Hype Bros are against the champions of WrestleMania, that would be my dream match for now.
And it's going to be at home in Orlando. That's where I live now. Zach's moving there so he can hang out with me all the time. That's the only reason he's moving.
Zach's the noisy neighbour then.
What's that?
Zach's the noisy neighbour.
Yeah.
I'm the
We're going to come to Germany in the corner first, then over there.
Thank you, Andrew. I would like to know, you are traveling a lot all over the world. What do you do in your free time on a plane or in the car?
Oh, like I usually just listen to like some podcasts or sleep. You know, try to catch up on some sleep on the planes. I know Mojo doesn't like to get sleep.
No, I don't like to sleep. I don't like that sleep thing at all. He tries to tell me to do it all the time, but I don't listen. Instead, I probably spend half of my off time trying to convince him to come party with me. And then I'll spend the other half getting rejected by him. So that's usually what I do with my off time.
And what was your first meeting, or how was your first meeting with Vince McMahon for your boss?
Ooh, I don't even remember the first time. Actually, was before I got signed by WWE. I worked a SmackDown match against this guy Matt Morgan. I was like, I think 20 years old, and I remember just seeing him in the hallway and thanking him for the opportunity. I was so nervous to be there, and wow, that was such a long time ago. Look that up. That's some funny stuff.
Yeah, you know, you meet Vince for the first time, you really don't know what to expect. You know, you hear all these stories, you see him on TV. You know, it's definitely something that could be very intimidating, but he's actually, I mean, he's a great guy. You know, so I guess I was thrown off a little bit by how maybe friendly and personable he was, as opposed to maybe if he was a little more reserved and I don't know. But it was great.
No problem. Thank you. Thanks. Corner.
I'm Neil from WWE Kids Magazine.
All right.
Just again a quick question. Yeah, you know, teaching the younger generations. You've said yourself, you're on the road. It's like non-stop, no days off. What do you miss when you're on the road constantly? Is there anything particular that you miss?
He misses his bed. I don't miss mine.
I'm just so used to being on the road. I've been here 10 years. Just like this is like my lifestyle now. So sometimes when I'm home for too many days, I'm almost like bored. Like, oh, what do I do now? Like, you know, like because I'm used to just like rushing home. So if there's a week where we have like 3 or 4 days home, I don't know what to do with myself because I'm used to always being on the go.
I don't really miss anything, to be honest with you. I mean, with our travel schedule, you know, we travel all over the world, so it's an opportunity to see family or friends in every city, state, country. For example, we just had shows in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh, just like last week or whatever it was. I had the opportunity to see family I hadn't seen in 15 years and meet other family for the first time. So the answer would have been family, but with our travel schedule, I see more than I would have anyway, so it's great.
And obviously as well, you spend so much time with like the rest of the people in the roster, and just to know who's the most annoying person in the locker room, in your opinion.
Well, I can't say Mojo because he's my partner.
Yeah, you can.
I would have to say The Miz for sure. He's definitely the most annoying.
Why is he the most annoying?
He's just so full of himself and he's so loud and he's The Miz 24/7. You know.
I like that though. I like to make fun of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have some good back and forth, so I enjoy that.
Awesome. Thanks very much.
This gentleman here, I believe he's got a question.
So Mojo, obviously you were in NXT for a while. So what was it like making that transition from NXT and also going into the draft pit? What was your expectation? Were you hoping to get drafted? And what was your reaction?
Well, the draft was a cool thing for me because coming from the NFL, I wasn't drafted in football. I was an undrafted player, so you know, leaving football to come here and actually being drafted here, you know, that was kind of, I feel like my career coming full circle. On draft day, I didn't know what was going to happen. You know, when Zack was drafted solo, you know, I thought I had missed the window, and I was sitting there, and I was like, man, you got to be kidding me. I missed out again. And then, you know, like I'm sitting there kind of like piecing together my career in my head, you know, how I'm going to kind of bounce back from not being drafted, and then my name was called. That was a pretty cool feeling. Believe it or not, I was not running and screaming around like I normally would be. It was kind of like just like the internal feeling of accomplishment, which means more, I think.
So, Zack, obviously you were in the main roster for an awful long time and then going back down to NXT. So what was it like going back down to NXT and also teaming? What was it like also having a meeting with Mojo, and what was your reaction to thinking you were going to be teaming with him?
I mean, I'll be honest, when I first was told that they want me to team with this guy Mojo Rawley, I was like, oh man, this is a step backwards. But I just took another step backwards. I realized, hey, this is an opportunity for me to, you know, just breathe some fresh air into my career. So I went down there. I remember I direct messaged him on Twitter because I didn't have his number or anything, and we got in contact right away. And that whole year, or close to a year, I was doing the WWE shows and then going down to NXT. So my schedule was nuts. But it all paid off. And, you know, like we talked about before, you know, one weekend I was in some armory in Florida, team with Mojo. The next weekend I was at Cowboy Stadium winning the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. So it was cool to see both sides of it, and then Mojo to finally get called up. It all kind of paid off, you know.
So obviously it's your first time in Scotland. You've been here quite a lot. Have you tried Iron Brew yet?
No.
What's that?
Iron Brew. It's a Scottish drink. It's supposedly like a hangover cure, but
really?
nowhere else has it. So you need to make sure that you have it.
All right, we'll try it out.
Let's get some.
Get some Iron Brew.
Yeah.
We need it for this.
We're going to watch you try it.
Oh,
Perfect.
no.
What's in it?
Don't
ask?
It's hard to.
We got a wellness policy. We got to know what's in these things before we drink them, man. It's strict around here.
Good answer. Kenny?
Yeah, sure. I just wanted to ask you guys about Talking Smack, because we're in an era now with Twitter and all this different stuff that people are very interested in the guys behind the characters or what goes on backstage. And Talking Smack really feels a different show from anything else in WWE. You guys have been on Talking Smack already.
That's fun.
How important is that show, do you think, for SmackDown to have something where you feel like you can kind of get to know the guys behind the characters a little bit and be a little bit more free with how you communicate with the audience?
Yeah, I think with like social media, like it's such a weird dynamic because I have to tweet as Zack Ryder, but then I also have to tweet like behind the character. So it's like where do you draw the line? I think that's a cool thing about WWE, and like no other form of entertainment has that. And Talking Smack, it just brings that out. And we got to go on there. We didn't even know what we were talking about. We just went on there, and that was the best part. Not having like a script or bullet points, just going out there and being us. And we had fun, and I think the audience had fun watching us.
Yeah, just it's an additional platform to really show the world who we are, and like Zach said, us on the fly is just that's the best side of us because these are two guys that could not be more unalike. Like we have nothing in common. It's actually hysterical how bad it is. It's any new activity we go to. It's just any movie that I liked, he thinks sucks. Right. I mean, that's just how it is. So when you put the two of us in a situation like that, it's always a great time.
And obviously on the network they had Breaking Ground as well, where you were heavily featured on that. How important do you feel that was for you and your character for people to get to know you a little bit before you came up?
I think that was extremely important for me because I think given how I act a lot of times, especially on TV, maybe it's easy for me to get pigeonholed as being one-dimensional, maybe just being that party side or that very loud, extroverted, side. But with Breaking Ground, it was able for me. It was an opportunity for me to showcase a little bit more of who I am, maybe behind the scenes. As far as talking with the kids about their grades and things of that sort. I think it was great for me. I think it turned a lot of heads for me, opened a lot of eyes to who I am. I was very grateful to have that opportunity. I hope to do it again.
And just finally for both you guys, can you talk a little bit about Triple H's influence now in the growth of the Performance Center, NXT, and how that's sort of changed over the last couple of years from what it was before?
Sure. Well, that was his baby. That was his vision years back before that thing was even built. And the fact of the matter is, it's a game changer. Before the Performance Center was built, we were in this crappy, dirty, grungy warehouse in Tampa, Florida, and our resources were very limited. We'd have to cancel practices sometimes because there was too many people in the building. There wasn't enough space for everybody. But now being in the Performance Center, especially as a guy coming from the NFL that has outrageous facilities, that's comparable. That Performance Center is legit. It's a one-stop shop for everything we need, and the capabilities that it has will really add years to people's careers. Whether it's from the rehab aspect in the training room or the additional rings for everybody to get in there and get more work, rather than having to wait in line for the previous 6 guys to finish before you get a turn, or just even from the video standpoint, being able to analyze and review your tape from every match, from every practice, and really study it. And again, coming from football, I know how important that is to study everything that you have, and the Performance Center has given everyone an opportunity to really take advantage and just become better.
Yeah, just like Mojo said, when I started training, it was in some crappy little garage with no heat or air conditioning, and then I've been to that Performance Center. It's incredible. They have the gyms, the rings, the promo rooms. It's definitely something else, and it's definitely why so many people from NXT have succeeded in WWE.
Zach, you've been in WWE for a number of years now. You're an ex-US champion, Intercontinental champion, tag team champion. Is there any up-and-coming superstars that actually come to you to be a mentor now?
Besides this guy? No, like you said, I have been here for a while, but it's so weird because I don't look at myself as one of those like veteran guys until I look around. I'm like, oh my god, I've been here longer than this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. But the thing about WWE is you always got to just reinvent yourself, or just change your look, or just change your attitude every couple of years, and that's how you stay fresh. And that's what I plan on doing. The Hype Bros is a breath of fresh air for us, And the goal, you named all those titles, but the goal is to keep winning more and more and more, and just this is only the beginning. This isn't close to the end. No way.
And who was obviously for the both of you? Who was your mentor when you first joined WWE? Who helped you get along?
When I first joined, I was lucky to be under Edge. Myself and Kurt Hawkins were the Edge heads, and we got to, at first we got on the main roster, we were kind of like lost and lingering on the roster, and then all of a sudden we got thrown into the main event picture with Edge, wrestling guys like Undertaker and Ric Flair and Batista and Shawn Michaels. So to have someone like Edge, who was the world champion at the time, taking us under his wing, you can't get a better learning experience than that.
And the same for you, Mojo?
Well, really, coming into NXT, it was kind of like a family atmosphere, so it would be hard to individually single one person out. It was, kind of a team atmosphere. When you came back from a match, it was essentially all the veterans that were giving you advice and kind of trying to steer you in the right direction. So I don't think one necessarily jumps to mind. And it just pretty much everybody. It's a great atmosphere there.
And the last one I've got is obviously you yourself are used to getting hit hard from the NFL. Zach, you've been used to being slammed around the ring for many years. Who is your toughest opponent, and how quick did you adapt from tackling people to being slammed?
Well, adaptability, it really didn't take long, I feel like. They're both very, very physical, sports. So you kind of, the skill set that it takes for you to be successful in football, it's the exact same skill set here. So I wouldn't say the learning curve physically was that bad. I was blown away to see how big the learning curve was mentally. How you go about, your matches and, responding to, criticism or the fans here. And, we have a very, very unique fan base. And city to city, they're completely different. Football fans aren't an issue. You're out there and you're playing, and if you ball out, then you do great. Here, it's all about what the fans like. So I was blown away to see the mental disparity there, but physically it really wasn't too bad, to be honest with you.
And your toughest opponent?
Toughest opponent? Ooh, I would definitely say Sheamus is definitely the hardest hitting opponent I've ever been in the ring with. But I actually don't mind it because I just hit him right back. So it's actually it's a real fight when you're in there with him. But I love stuff like that. So like the old saying goes, it ain't ballet. So that's what we're here to do.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Just to finish off, we've got this guy here mentioned Iron Brew, which is the national soda of Scotland.
Zach doesn't drink soda.
Do you want to do a taste test? Do you want to try?
We have to do a taste test. You going to do it, bro?
I'll take a little sip.
Guys, bear in mind, this is the national drink of Scotland. Just think about your responses.
Response, bro.
Well, I love the color. Orange is one of my favorite colors. So.
Yeah, that and purple. I know, because you try to put it on all of our gear.
You could be the new face for the company.
Hold on. I'm having difficulties.
Cheers, bro.
Here we go.
Not bad. Not bad at all, actually.
Oh, I like that.